don't see too many like me. Cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do when you wanna be me instead of you. Cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
And we are live with Joxx podcast here in Cherryville, North Carolina. Hunter Yancey here, Kevin Hastings, Zach Mayhew's in the house. Zach, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How about you guys?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually so excited. I am so excited because of that news we talked about before we even went on air. It just excites the hell out of me. Kevin will be in here in just a minute, of course, making sure that we are all set to go on the stream-wise for everybody that is watching us on Facebook. I hope you are having a great day, and I hope that you are also enjoying your social distancing time. For those of you that weren't already practicing it before they implemented it, I know you're just basically doing something that you would do every day. I would rather have been enjoying it. It's been saving me a lot of gas from driving to and from Charlotte for classes, so I can't complain there.
I work at the grocery store, so I'm considered essential.
You are very essential.
And I've been working
we
some extra time, some overtime, and the gas hadn't been bad because it was 136 in Lincoln today.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's nice.
It was one. I remember. When
Obviously, it's for awful circumstances,
Right.
but it is nice.
I was. Let's see. When I worked in Lincoln, in Boger City, Harris Teeter, it was in 2002, and I remember filling up at the racetrack, raceway, whichever one. I can't remember the name of it.
You talking about
just opened up back in those days, and it was 125.
Ooh.
And that's the last time I can remember gas being anywhere close to being this cheap. I've got a little Malibu, and I had a quarter of a tank, and I put $12 in, and I had to barely get that in. It wasn't going to come. It was about to splash out on me for $12.
$12.
So you can't beat that.
Can't beat that at all. I'll tell you can't beat it at all. Really, my truck. Usually, before these gas prices dropped, it took me $40, $45 to fill it up, depending on what the price was. It was higher or lower. I filled it up the other day for $28. Yep. I was so happy.
Yeah,
I was so happy.
And
so that's always fun.
And then you was talking about the coming up the last dance. I think is what they're calling it.
Oh yes, I'm
I think
ready.
everybody be excited to see that. I'll definitely be watching it.
For those of you that don't know what we're speaking about, ESPN, I guess due to public demand, and not just public demand, but the lack of content that they even have to put out besides classic games and reruns, has decided to move up the 10-part documentary series on Michael Jordan's Bulls of the 90s, which to me, I'm all game for it. And what excites me the most about it is it's going to be airing episodes 1 and 2 on my birthday. So to me, I'm like, hey,
what day
happy
was
birthday.
that again?
It's April 19th. So April 19th will be when the first 2 parts of the documentary series will air on ESPN. I think as well, like when it's done, you'll be able to go back and watch it on like ESPN Live. Thank you, Kevin, for bringing in the Purell and the sanitation and the hand sanitizer that we're going to need, obviously. There were other people here today. And there were other people here today. Don't know about if they're.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'll need to back my microphone up just a little bit. Kevin, how you day been?
What's wrong with your microphone?
We
don't know if they have the Rona.
I told them not to touch the microphones.
There's
while they were in here. I said I'll set them where you need to go. Y'all don't touch them.
There's a funny Facebook meme out, and it's a dog. I don't know if y'all have seen it, and it says every time I get the throat tickle, is that you, Rona?
Is that you? Well, see, I feel bad because I have a dry cough, and people are like, oh, my gosh, is that it? And I'm like, no. I don't have any of the other symptoms. It's called allergies. The pollen is getting me just as bad as the corona is. I'll just tell you that. It's getting me quicker. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So, Hunter, I heard you talking, and it is pretty ironic, Zach, because Hunter, who really didn't live in the Jordan era, has been really excited about this documentary and told him to post it early, and then they posted on his birthday.
Yeah, I think that's great. They did. Like, I have been really I've been adamant about them pushing it forward.
He's been really adamant about it.
So the Redskins didn't get Cam, and he gets that on his birthday. You got 2 presents.
He was awful scared there for a while.
I was awful scared. But I am glad that they decided to push the documentary forward.
But the good news is, Hunter, if you would have had Ron and Cam, there's a good chance you'd have had the same number of Super Bowls as you had in the past 25 years.
It doesn't matter. We're still gonna have that regardless this coming year. That's
Still zero.
That's gonna be a staple.
Yeah, we was talking about that coming out, and
Is it? It's 10 parts, isn't it?
10 parts.
So
I
how are they
thought
going?
it was
When
six.
they
It's 5 different air dates. The April 19th is going to have 1 and 2.
Okay,
that play
that's what I was.
one
That's
after
what
the
I
other.
was wondering.
Yeah, I wish they would do like 10 straight days of it. I'm like, that's fantastic, but
I was. That,
why not?
I just had a lot of questions about. Is this about his whole career? Is it? It's called The
This-
Last Dance. Is it just the last 3 years?
this is
the
not-
Washington years.
what
What is
people
it-
have
what's
to
it about?
remember is even though Michael Jordan is the primary character, it is about the Bulls as a whole, the 90s Bulls. But you can't talk about the 90s Bulls without Michael Jordan. So he'll, of course, be the main focal point and probably what it's centered about mostly, but it'll go in about Scotty, Rodman, Phil Jackson,
Curve.
They've got so many people coming on there to talk about him. It's ridiculous. There's a great video that one of the first promotionals that they did. It showed a ton of people that were going to be on there. Roy Williams is going to come on there at some point. I don't know what
Ewing.
episode. Patrick Ewing's going to be on there. Charles Barkley's going to be on there. Magic Johnson definitely is going to be on there.
Kobe.
The late Kobe Bryant is going to be on there.
Carmen Electra, for some reason.
For some and Justin
She dated
Timberlake.
Rodman.
Rodman.
She might have been married to
That's
him.
exactly right.
Well,
it just
and-
clicked as soon as
Yeah.
you looked up.
I was like,
remembered that.
"Come on, Zach."
That's exactly what. It was.
So it is essentially about the Bulls, just the dynasty that they were as a whole. So that kind of explains the 10-part documentary series because you got to go through 3 different three-peats.
Okay.
So
I just wanted to make sure that if they were talking about the whole thing or
Right.
just random
now,
things.
I don't know if you heard me say this to Zach off air before we came on, but I caught the tail end of Bill Simmons' interview with Colin Cowherd today. Bill Simmons created The Ringer. For those of you that don't know, The Ringer's now sold for a couple $2 billion to Spotify.
Now I'll tell you, Hunter, a real quick story on Simmons.
I like Bill Simmons.
Name sounds real familiar. Is he like a?
He used to be on ESPN.
He used to
I thought he was.
He used to
That's
call
right.
himself the sports guy,
Yeah.
and he used to write an article on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 2 writers on ESPN who I read all the time.
Okay.
He was one of them,
Right.
and Greg Easterbrook is the other one.
I know Greg.
So Greg Easterbrook's ton of different writings, but what he used to do, it used to be called Tuesday Morning Quarterback, and he would, I mean, it was pages and pages. If you print it out, it'd be pages and pages of information. And
Yeah.
he was doing analytical stuff in football before
Or
anyone
analytics,
else has
yeah.
been doing analytics. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed his articles. He'd give you information that you'd never know, some fun things. Simmons was kind of like that, but he was more of the first people who made a lot of jokes when he wrote.
Yeah.
It was kind of, in a joking manner, and he would write about things other than like the basic journalistic writings that people do, like, hey,
Yeah.
our team's great, our team's this and that. Now I'll tell you when I fell out on Simmons,
Right.
and it's partly personal, but it's not. But he's a Boston guy, right?
Yeah.
So
Northeastern.
he's Boston. It's all Boston sports. So when the Yankees, when the Red Sox came back and beat the Yankees in that series, the next series they played the Cardinals in the World Series, and he lost a ton of what he was doing / his shtick because the Red Sox won. And it totally changed on my end perspective of him reading and writing about that series and stuff, that it was totally biased. He didn't care. It was just all about Boston. And that's the point when, right at the same time, Zach, Red Sox starts winning. Patriots start winning Super Bowl. So it was just...
Celtics were pretty good too.
It went from a funny, bitter writer to a, hey, we're the champs. And it was a cocky Boston person that you know now.
Yeah. Well.
Like, honestly, before Red Sox won that World Series, I couldn't name 5 people that I know that was a Boston Red Sox fan. I
Right.
honestly don't even know if I know one before they won that World Series.
Well, I mean, I know
even
one.
during the World Series, and see, I was in college, so even during the World Series, all my friends during all that,
Yeah.
they were Braves or Yankees fans. None of, I don't know. I still won't know if I know 5 Red Sox fans.
I know one, but it's my 84-year-old grandfather.
Well, there
who's
you
a
go.
Boston Red Sox
I know
fan,
2.
so-
I think I knew 2 Red Sox fans.
But Bill Simmons, essentially, he said this documentary is more than likely going to reassure everybody that Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player of all time. He said that's more than likely what's going to come out of this. It's going to go so in depth just about the Bulls as a whole, but it will bring to light the greatness that is his airness in Michael Jordan. And I could see that. I could see that. He goes on to say how the Jordan in, what was it, the 98 series, averaging 41, the whole NBA Finals series, said is probably the greatest thing in basketball he's ever seen. So
I didn't see Bill Cartwright getting interviewed.
Cartwright.
I didn't see. I tell you what. I tell you who I didn't. Who else I didn't see? I didn't see Isaiah Thomas on there either.
I love Bill Cartwright's voice.
Threatened to break Jordan's legs.
Yeah, that too. But he had one of the most unique shots in history, Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
It would be behind his head, so people can see it, and he would flip from here.
His free throw was awesome.
He'd shoot his free throw like this. He would go behind his head and flip it like that. Weird.
The one thing I did notice about the vignettes that they played was the cast of
you guys not allowed
players, and this you'll see them.
Well, this is not the one.
You forget how good of a team that he had around him. It was very well played.
Jordan is the most talented player in the NBA by far.
So they set up their teams totally different than, say, like LeBron and them set up their team. Like LeBron and them's idea is to build the best team that he can possibly. Like I'm going to add
through player movement.
Right. I'm going to add this stud, this stud, this stud. Like okay, last year, why didn't the Lakers do good last year? Now all of us, LeBron needs. Well, I need the best point guard on the court. I need the best shooting guard. I need the best of everything, or I can't win. And we talked. So their teams were, and Zach, if you'll remember back in the end. So let's go back to the Bulls. And here's an impressive thing, Hunter. You bring up the Defensive Player of the Year with Jordan.
Ron Harper was
outstanding as far as, I think he was the only Defensive Player of the Year award in the last 30 years. That's a guard. Like, they're all forwards and centers, and he's the only one.
I think Jordan averaged like 3 steals a game that year.
Yeah, he was a steals leader one year. Steals champion.
And so so they built their teams. They didn't build who was their point guards?
I mean, they wasn't trying to outscore Ron Harper or John Paxson.
Paxson, Harper, B.J. Armstrong,
Kerr.
Steve Kerr, and so
Craig Hodges.
So the other night I watched
Just a shooter.
I watched the Bulls and the Supersonics game 5 of that series. Supersonics actually won that one, but what I was noticing when the starting lineup, Zach, you just looking at that and they put the starting lineup on the screen, and the only thing you can say is Jordan better get 40 because there ain't nobody else is getting 40.
You're getting 17 to 20 from Pippen.
Yeah, in the playoffs, he was getting 25 because combined they were getting 60 in the playoffs most nights, and
That's it.
You looked, Rodman's not going. You can't count him for scoring. Kukoc was the third man in the second unit.
You might get 12 to 15 from him.
And Horace Grant was that
12.
second guy in the first dynasty. But they never had a dominant center like almost every team in the league had.
No,
they never had a dominant point guard like most teams in the league had. They just had the 3 wings.
They run three centers a lot of times. They run Purdue, Cartwright, and Luke Longley.
And the thing about those teams, and they
traded Purdue for Rodman.
Right. And so if you want to, in those teams in Hunter, here's another thing about those. So Michael never played with a single guy besides Scottie Pippen who made the All-Star team while as a Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Kukoc, Rodman, Horace Grant, none of them made the All-Star team as a teammate of Michael Jordan. So in his whole career as a Bull, he only had one player make the All-Star team, and it was Scottie. LeBron had more than that in his first Cavs stint in Cleveland. Zydrunas Ilgauskas and Mo Williams both made the All-Star team the year they went to the finals. So LeBron in his first finals, played with more All-Stars than Jordan did in his whole career. We're not even talking about Wade and Allen and Bosh and all those guys.
Oh, yeah.
and then moving back to Cleveland with Kyrie, and then now in LA. So looking at that,
And in LA with probably the third best player in the league in Anthony Davis.
right?
And they prided themselves. You could hear Jordan talk about this. They prided themselves on defense because you remember
That's where I was getting with how they set their teams up. They had 2 or 3 7-footers who could foul the big men.
Yeah.
That's all they did.
and they could hit free throws too.
Luke Longley in that finals, Zach, averaged 15 points a game against Seattle. I mean, that just tells you he was hitting those jump shots in the free
mid-range
throws.
jumper.
Every one of their big men could shoot free throws.
Yep.
When they went to the line, they hit free throws. So they set their team up, like I was saying, that like you just mentioned, to play defense. Everybody knew their role. It was Michael and Scotty score, and everyone else, Rodman, get the rebound, get out of the way. Kukoc, pitch in the third way. Centers, play defense and hit your free throws, hit your open jumper when Jordan hits you. The point guards were guard the guy. If they couldn't guard the point guard and there was a problem, Hunter, they moved Scotty over there, and Scotty shut it down.
Yep.
I mean, it was Scotty. If I'm having someone guard the ball, he's the man. Nobody else in the history of NBA. Gary Payton might be your second choice, but Scottie Pippen's the man bringing the ball up.
And even they said, Ron Harper was a lockdown defender.
Right. And he was a 20-point scorer with the Clippers before he got there. So Shannon, your boy Sharp, was on the TV the other day talking about that Jordan didn't beat the same quality of players that LeBron did. So LeBron beat Tim Duncan, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. And that was Shannon's point, is that best point guard, best power forward, maybe best small forward.
Jordan beat Stockton and Malone.
Let's go to that. We can just go down team by team.
Well, that's what you know what that is. But I want you to think about that, though. I want you to think about that. That's literally playing into the argumentative paper. You lost the picture there. Just because that literally is playing into the argumentative paper that I was making, where everybody is saying today's players bigger, faster, stronger, and everything is better today. Right. And I made the argument that the players in the 90s would have just as good of a chance in today's game than anybody else.
Right.
And so that Shannon Sharp played right into that narrative with that statement.
The difference between
I like Shannon.
The Bulls team and teams now is that they would be guarding people.
Yeah.
Like they would be guarding people like they don't guard now.
Colin Cowherd on his show yesterday said the 96 Bulls would blow out the Golden State Warriors because they would play defense.
Right. So Zach, so I named those 3 guys that LeBron beat.
Right.
Okay. Magic Johnson, James Worthy. It wasn't Kareem on that first one. It was DeVos. Kareem had just retired. Mm-hmm. But he beat Magic Johnson and James Worthy. Okay, Magic's considered maybe the best point guard of all time. So let's just say before LeBron starts playing, let's just look at the guys that he beat. I can give you a starting lineup, Zach, of Magic Johnson, Clyde Drexler at the 2, Barkley at the 3, Karl Malone at the 4, and
Elijah won.
He didn't beat Elijah in the finals.
Oh, we're talking about in the finals.
Yeah, in the finals. Who was the other one? I had
Seattle.
Kemp?
He would have been a power forward.
Well,
but you could have Stockton coming off as a 6 man.
Well, right. So Stockton coming off the bench behind Magic. Stockton was on the Dream Team and is the all-time leader in assists.
He gets poo-pooed on a lot.
And steals. Stockton is steals.
And he was tiny.
So he beat that guy. Stockton, Zach, if I don't know if you remember, he's the one that knocked out Barkley in the 97 playoff series with a 3-pointer at the top of the key.
Yeah.
So what they did, I was watching it. Karl Malone set the most illegal screen I've ever seen in my life. And what they did was, so Malone and Stockton set up top of the key, right? So Barkley's guarding Malone. I don't know if it was Kevin Johnson or not still at the time, or if it was someone else at point guard.
Probably was. Phoenix.
So when Stockton, somebody was talking about Kevin Johnson the other day, how he's today's like Kyrie Irving. He would get 20, 25 points a game, but he really didn't help his team and stuff. So Malone cuts towards the ball. Barkley follows him. Well, no. Sorry. Stockton cut under Malone for a pick, right? So when he cuts under him, Malone picks his guy. Barkley stepped up and didn't switch. See, back then they didn't switch every single pick. So Barkley steps up not to switch. But the point guard switched and left Stockton wide open, swinging around for a 3. Barkley didn't get there too late. And if you watch the replay, when Barkley stepped up, Stockton, Zach, shoved the guy guarding him into where Karl Malone was at. So they got like a 2-man shove. So he got pushed like twice within the same second. By the time Barkley realizes it, Stockton's standing over here by himself, and he catches the inbound pass, hits the three.
And you're talking about who did Jordan beat? We could do by default. He didn't beat him in the finals, but he owned Patrick Ewing. Mm-hmm. So you could throw Patrick on there.
Went through Shaq.
Went through Shaq. He did have trouble with him that year he came back, I believe.
Right, the Magic beat him.
That was a good team
When Jordan was wearing
Penny
45.
Hardaway, Shaq. But yeah, that whole. I think it was Jalen Rose that said that Jordan would be unstoppable in today's time with no hand checking. It would be over. He'd average 40.
I was just saying, everybody would agree he'd average 40 on his career.
Look at James Harden.
On his career with hand checking, he averaged 30.
Look at James Harden. How much better is Jordan than James Harden?
It's not only the hand checking, Hunter. It's if you get by someone today,
there's nobody in the lane.
Is there a shot blocker in the lane?
No.
So not only would he get
He'd
by,
dunk all over everybody.
It would be a dunk fest. His first 5 to 7 years when he was athletic, Jordan, like one of the most athletic guys in the league, the hand checking, with no hand checking and stuff, there's no way in the world anyone staying in front of him.
He posterized Dikembe. He posterized Alonzo. He posterized multiple shot blockers.
And see, I think that's what's going to make this so great, this docuseries. It's because it's going to give kids like me, and a lot of kids my age think that LeBron is the greatest, and that's fine. You know what I said? It's an opinion, and mostly it's statistic-based because he's so high up on assists, rebounds, points, and everything. But they're going to be able to see, and I'm going to be able to see even more in depth, not on like what I've already just searched up on my own, who Michael was on the court and his mentality, and essentially what made him so great. It's going to bring to light and give everybody just the only thing to watch if you're a sports fan is going to be that's just brand new. So it's going to be good material. It's going to be eye-opening for a lot of kids that are just like, oh, well, it's LeBron. It's LeBron.
So, Hunter, what you got was a perfect mix of one of the most athletic people of all time, who was taught the fundamentals by Dean Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Played for Phil Jackson. Had some good coaches in the Olympics.
Even Doug Collins.
Across the board. Collins was a decent coach. So you take Jordan's raw athletic sports greatness. So before he got to winning the championships, people were discussing whether or not he could be in the discussion with Magic, and
because he couldn't
pretty much
win.
then it was Magic, Bird, and Kareem.
It was just because he couldn't win the big one.
Right.
It's the same thing everybody was having with LeBron before he won his.
And again, no superstar, except maybe Dirk, that I can think of, has won it specific kind of by himself. And Jordan was no exception with that.
I mean, that Mavericks team wasn't great, but they had what they did good was just play as defense. They played great defense, like team defense.
So not only did Jordan
they were in LeBron's
not
head.
only did Jordan only have one teammate, Hunter, every team he played against also had 2 or 3 All-Stars as well in those finals. Lakers, Magic, and Worthy. Portland, Terry Porter made the All-Star team that year, and so did Clyde Drexler. For the Phoenix, it was Barkley,
Kevin Johnson.
I think KJ made it that year. I may even think it might have been Marley. May have snuck in.
He was a shooting guard.
Yeah,
Kevin Johnson was the point guard. Marley was shooting guard.
Right, Marley may have snuck in that year. And then over in, of course, the Sonics had Peyton and Kemp, and
they had Detlef Schrempf.
Detlef Schrempf made an All-Star team. I think he might have made it that year. They made the finals too, because usually those teams when they make the finals end up with 3 people on the on that. So, there's just so many little details and little things. Like how about they never played a Game 7, Hunter?
Never played Game 7.
Not in the finals. In the East they had to a couple of times here and there.
Well, yeah, never Game 7 in the finals because Jordan called game every time.
Well, and if let's just say this would be my opinion, but if they would go up today and they were in today's time, and you've got, let's just say it's the Lakers, Jordan would make it a vendetta. I mean, you're gonna have Scottie guarding LeBron, okay?
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to want them to shut them down. He's going to want to shut the Lakers down, and they could shut the Lakers team down. I believe that.
Who's the Lakers starting lineup, Hunter? Do you know?
Listen,
Rondo?
I will tell you this. I don't know if
I don't know if
Rondo
he's starting
starts.
right now.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's strange they play LeBron at the point. So if you want to go ahead and put LeBron at point guard,
They
there you
basically
go.
morphed him into Scotty.
It does, yeah. But what they don't realize is, I don't care who your 2 guard or maybe your 3 guard is Jordan's locking them up. Jordan's locking up. Your little guys that all they want to do is stand on the perimeter and catch and shoot. That's going to be that's rest time
They would have
for
them
Jordan.
crying with their legs, tail between their legs. I mean, look at Rodman. He would have Anthony Davis tore up. Would he not? He would be in his head. He didn't have to score a point. He'd be out rebounding him, and he would have him crying.
Yeah, but are they going to let him talk as much smack in this soft NBA day? They're not just going to go tee him up real fast as soon as he about makes one of them cry?
It would be.
I don't know, because here's the thing.
And I take it,
because the game is just so not physical anymore.
no, they're all friends.
The physicality that
right,
was in the
Zach,
90s
here's the
would
Lakers.
absolutely, I think it would overwhelm any team that has won it in the 2000s and 2010s. Maybe not the early 2000s, because if I'm not mistaken, hand checking was deemed out of the league. Like, you can't touch somebody on the perimeter in 2004. I think that was what my research said.
So this is, make sure when you do point that out, it's not only the handshaking, it's the no 7-footers in the lane blocking a shot.
Yeah, that too. Stretch 4s and 5s now. It's all spread out. And they're shorter today than they were in the 90s.
Here's their starting lineup.
Small ball.
Avery Bradley, Danny Green, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and JaVale McKee. And this is exactly how Chicago did up. Pippen would guard LeBron.
Yep.
Jordan would guard Avery Bradley. And then,
That's a lockup. That's a rest day
And then
for Jordan.
and then Ron Harper would chase Danny Green around. Jordan could guard Danny. There's no reason to make Jordan chase him around
Right.
3-pointers all the time. So you make
No.
Ron Harper do that, and then so you'd have Bradley. Is he getting anywhere with Jordan guarding him? Danny Green's got Harper chasing him around, and then LeBron's got Pippen hounding him. LeBron would rather have the ball out of his hands if someone hounding him anyway. So that's what you want. Then you want Bradley starting the offensive Jordan guarding him. So
Against a
with
steals champion and Michael Jordan, he'd rip him.
It's the versatility of those 3 guys right there. They can guard no matter what 3 you put out there. I have a combination of rotating those guys. So if you look over at the Warriors, okay?
Right.
I'm guarding the Warriors.
Yep.
So who's my starting line for the Wiggins and
Do you want to do today's
No,
Warriors, or do
if
you want to
you-
do
even
the,
if you
you
done
want to
the
do the
other one.
73-9 Warriors?
Sure, whichever.
It-
Do the
doesn't even
73-9
matter.
Warriors.
Okay.
Because then we can go Steph, because we know that one. Because I can be honest, I don't know who's starting in this one. They're so injured.
Steph and Clay.
It's Steph,
you're
Clay.
You're gonna have.
All right, we'll go Steph, Clay, Kevin. This is if KD's still on the team.
Durant,
KD,
and-
Draymond, and then I don't know who they would even put at the Looney, Kevon Looney.
Okay.
Whatever.
So Looney's in Luke Longley. Okay.
It's
Okay.
a wash.
You know who I put on Durant though, Zach, don't you?
Pippen.
Nuh-uh.
You put Michael?
You want to get
or
in his head?
Rodman?
Yes,
You want to
Rodman.
put him
Oh,
on,
well, let
you
me
want to
tell
put
you.
him on Draymond
KD
just to have him.
Kevin
he'd
Durant.
be ejected in the first game.
Right. What's the point of him guarding Draymond? Nothing.
You don't want to stop the 7 points.
Cause you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my point. Rodman's your best defender for big men. Why put him on? Now Durant could play with Rodman on the perimeter a little bit, but
Rodman was quick.
that was what made him good. Was he was quick and he was 6'10".
Now the thing about Rodman, I don't want to do no social distance on you, but do you remember this? He would get on him and he'd be like doing this shaking thing. Do you remember? He like
He's just
all over him. Like
no matter what, he was going to be childish
The worm.
about it.
Maybe that's why they called him that.
Yeah, his nickname was the Worm.
Goodness, man, he is.
It was
you
just
know, he just get
nonstop.
on your nerves.
Right. And
I hated playing somebody.
Dennis Rodman, 6'7".
I would bring up.
right. He would drive a Durant
He's
crazy.
six-
When we would play, and I'm not going to bring up the person's name.
I
but
want you to
you'll
think
know
about-
exactly what I'm talking about. When we played at the gyms, this dude would come in, and he would come in, and I hated playing against him because he's always sweaty and he was super hairy, and he always wanted to rub up on you.
Yeah.
That's Rodman.
That's Rodman.
yeah.
Now I'll tell
You
you
remember
what.
playing against that
I know
person?
who you're
I'll tell you what though. In all seriousness, they used to say
It's a bear.
They used to say before Kevin Durant came to Golden State could be the best small ball team out there because you could play Draymond at the 5 and put whoever you want. That essentially would move Clay to the 3, keep Steph at the 1, and you fill in at the 2 and 4 whoever you want. You can make an argument The Bulls could still shut that down if they went small.
See, the reason
Because you can put Rodman at your center and he's 6'7",
right,
and he's out rebounding everybody.
The reason
and
I wouldn't
Scotty
put
can be your
him-
4.
the reason I wouldn't put that I wouldn't necessarily put Scotty on Durant is because of Rodman driving him crazy, and I don't know if I'd want him. If you put Rodman on Draymond, they're going to take each other out at halftime. But you kind of want Scotty to guard Steph because I don't want Jordan
Or
wasting.
Clay.
I don't want. Well, see, I can do that with Jordan or Harper. So I'd rather have.
I
Think
would-
about it, Zach. You could just smart wise, put Pippen on Curry, Harper chase Clay around. You get tired.
Because Clay is still a
And
3-point
something you don't think about too is
he just
is
3-point
Harper. I think
perimeter
was
guy.
6'5".
Right.
Jordan 6'6".
Right. They're all
Pippen
6.
6'8" maybe.
So
Yeah, Pippen was listed as
then
6'8".
what I would do, I would rotate. I would put I would rotate Rodman and Jordan on Draymond and Durant. Okay. Durant nor Draymond is going to post up Michael, so I'm not worried about that. Okay. So all he's going to do is just get in their nerves, but you got Rodman getting in their nerves and Jordan talking smack.
Right.
So you got the most nerve-wracking person and the most jerk of all time talking junk to those two people. And then in the meantime, Scotty's 5 inches taller than Steph Curry.
Right.
And then Ron Harper's chasing Clay around. And that's exactly how I would guard him is rotate him like that. But that team, they can play anything. I didn't want to get into all that Jordan stuff, but
No,
Zach, I
I mean-
do got a good Jordan. Here's your good stat.
Well, I mean,
Hunter.
it's something that we can talk about because
Right.
it's what everybody's talking about. I know it's cliche to say, but since they announced that it's coming in literally like 2 weeks, that is going to be the topic. And after they show the first 2, that's going to be what somebody talks about is, do you remember this? Well, let's look back at this. It really highlighted this. And so what we didn't know was this. So this is the perfect time to just go ahead and start bringing light to it. And at this point, what else do we have to compare besides arguably the greatest dynasty of all time?
Space Jam.
And when is Space Jam?
Everything
2
goes,
supposed
I don't
to
know.
come
Everything
out?
goes back to Space Jam, Zach.
It's gonna flop.
If they're going
It's gonna
to,
flop.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it is.
if
It's
they're
gonna flop.
we sent undefeated Michael Jordan last time the aliens invaded. This time the aliens are invaded. They've give us the coronavirus, and we're going to send LeBron. He's lost 6 times.
Kevin said he's kicking out, and Edmore Fudd's going to shoot the 3 to win the game.
If you draw up the play, Hunter, at the end of the game, Jordan dunked in Space Jam.
I know, and he stretched himself.
LeBron will get to half court and kick it to Elmer Fudd in the corner for 3.
Yo, but can Fudd hit it though?
Is that not the biggest argument?
He's going to play in Ray Allen's spot.
That's what I'm saying. It can't. But the question, that's what I'm saying though, is like,
I think
can
that's-
he hit it?
I think
though?
that's one
You
of the-
think Elmer Fudd could hit it?
I think
He's
that's one
got
of
the shot.
the biggest arguments against LeBron is that if I draw up a play at the end of the game,
He might kick it out.
no, that is the play you draw up.
Oh yeah. He drives the lane and kick out. Not
If you're
drives
go-
the lane and gets
if-
fouled.
Jordan, drive the lane, get fouled, pull a jumper, do something, score. Okay? Yes, Michael. Yes, I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, drive to the lane. You're going to be taller, bigger, and stronger. Whoever's guarding you. When you get in there, get scared and kick it out to a skinny guy that
Make the
shoots
basketball play.
in the corner.
And you know, you
Make
talk
the
about,
basketball play. Who you
Hey,
can
listen.
even look at me and say you don't think is better than
Somebody
you.
asked Iverson about making the basketball play one time, and he
Yeah.
said something to the nature of, I would bet that I can make it with 2 people guarding me better
Better
than
than
he can
make
wide
it.
open.
Yeah.
and you think about this too.
That's Kobe's mentality with 3 people on him.
Jordan, he believed every time he stepped on court, he was the best. There's 2 things I mentioned about the Dream Team. Everybody knows about the game. It was Magic Team versus Jordan Team, and Jordan just went
Yeah, it was the
off.
practice.
And then the second thing is
That was a
when
great docuseries,
Tony
too.
Kukoc.
I thought you were going to talk about where he didn't play the first one.
When they set him on purpose. But
Yeah,
that's
Chuck
another,
Daly didn't play
That's another.
Didn't
that's
play
another
Jordan.
thing. It's a great story. But Tony Kukoc, and they made it a vendetta because everybody was talking about Tony Kukoc, and Jordan says he better not score, and they just hounded him, and
Yeah.
he made life miserable for him.
They just drafted him,
Yeah,
and he was about to join them. They were like, he's not going to score.
and so you was talking about that game that they actually lost. But Chuck Daly threw the game. I know you've both seen it when they played the
college
select
All-Stars.
team, is that
it was
what
the
they
college
call 'em?
All-Stars, Bobby Hurley.
It was a very good team.
Bobby Hurley and
Chris
them smoked
Webber?
them. Yeah, Bobby Hurley, Chris Webber. Shaq might have been on that team,
No,
too.
it wasn't Shaq. It was Bobby Hurley, Chris Webber. They showed it the other day, and so
Was it Leitner?
He was
he was on the
team.
dream team.
I know he was on the dream team, but I didn't know if he had played in the college select team, and then they were like,
No.
"All right, we're going to pull you
So
to the dream team."
he started. Daly
He's
starts,
the forgotten one. on
Daly
the dream
starts
team.
pulling Jordan and don't play him, and they get beat like 56-54 or 58-54, and they didn't know what to say because they didn't know how to play with each other, and they didn't think they could lose. And even Krzyzewski said this. He said, we didn't even know that he was throwing the game. He said, only person who could pull that was Daly. And he said, but it showed them that they was going to have to play together. He said he'd come out next day, and they just completely destroyed.
Well, yeah, they played Michael 1 by 40.
Yeah. So, but I was saying that mentality,
Yeah.
It didn't matter who he went up against. He could elevate to a different level.
Well, even Magic said. He said after they played each other, one-on-one, or not one-on-one, but, Magic's team versus Michael's team for the Dream Team. He said that's when he knew this is Michael's team.
Well,
this is Michael's
my favorite
league.
part of it was Bird was laying in the quarter because Bird's back's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, give it up, Magic. His league. Give it up, Magic. It's his league. And Magic was trying. But, yeah, it was just different time. And I don't
Wouldn't it have been nice to have seen Dominique play? Didn't he get hurt right before it? Didn't he miss it because he got hurt?
And you know what the thing about Dominique was? He blew his ACL out, I believe it was, and he came back and was still. He's one of the rare ones that actually came back. So it'd be interesting with KD, but he came back and he actually still averaged 30 points. Dominique, for his time, was awesome, and he still says he was robbed in the '88 Slam Dunk Championship. He probably was.
Dominique was the Vince Carter of that time. Didn't win anything.
Power dunker.
The Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady. He was scored 25 a game.
Yep.
Like he was the player.
He'd walk out on the court,
and
So and Hunter, this is the champion. When people say, "Well, all you do is say 6-0 or 6-0," and the reason they do is because of this. Dominique can dunk better than Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Vince Carter can dunk better than Jordan. Larry Bird can shoot better than Jordan.
Right.
But Jordan's a 9.5 on like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, all his contemporaries did not win like he did. Nobody has won like he does, even now. And you look at Durant, I think Durant may be the best scorer. Mm-hmm. If I want a point, I would give him the ball maybe even almost more than Michael if I need a three especially. But to get it, if I want somebody to go to the free throw line, I'm picking Michael. But Durant might be one of the best scorers. He's got 2 championships.
Yeah, only 2.
I mean, it's so hard, and he's 6-0. Never played Game 7,
and he
6 Finals MVPs.
Three-peated twice.
LeBron's never three-peated.
Never
once.
three-peated. The only other person that's three-peated and he only did it once was Kobe.
Shaq and Kobe.
Shaq and Kobe in the Lakers.
Probably an 87% free throw shooter for his career.
I think it was 88.
That's pretty good.
So Zach,
I think what I am really the most excited about, though, for this docuseries, besides them highlighting Michael and the Bulls, is getting to see what everybody else is going to say about them.
Yeah,
I'm actually really excited because I know it's unfortunate now, but because you have to put it this way, but the late Kobe Bryant's going to be on there, and I cannot wait to hear what Kobe Bryant says about Michael. I really can't, because Kobe idolized Michael. It was like his big brother when they were in the league. So when they get to talk to him, that's going to be great. They're going to have Pat Riley on there to talk about it. I want to know what Pat Riley's got to say about it. He orchestrated the Showtime Lakers. I really want to see what Barkley's got to say because he's not going to hold anything back. But he looks like he's got nothing but praise for Jordan. It's just, Colin put it in this way. He said, "There will never be a team so loved than the Bulls were countrywide." And he put it this way. He said, heartland of the United USA, they're in Midwest, they're in Chicago. They play hard like everybody does on the East Coast. So the East Coast people can get around them like a Boston and a New York Knicks. They were hard, gritty, and played really tough. And then they had the flair and the pizzazz because they had the biggest icon in the United States in Michael Jordan that they appeased to the West Coast. He said, so everybody could, you might not like to see them beat your team, but you don't hate them. You're almost mesmerized by them just because of how great they were. And I think that's something that's exciting, especially for me. I was born the same year that they went 72-10. I was born in 96. So I didn't even get to see the 96 Bulls. But all I can go off is statistics, hardwood classics. And now this gives you a little bit of an insight, really, into what made, and I mean this in the nicest way, what made that monster tick in Michael Jordan. And I think this is going to be exciting.
What'd you have, Kevin?
I was just trying to pull up
I have no internet
some.
at all.
None.
I'm connected to it.
No, you're good.
There you go.
Do I need to hit connect?
No. Just Open a new tab, search what you need to do.
Okay. What was you asking, Kevin?
I was just trying to figure out if there was an exact reason in particular that Dominique didn't make it. I mean, it says he averaged 6 straight seasons before 92, averaging 26 a game. It was snubbed. Larry Johnson, James Worley, Tim Hardaway, Reggie Miller, these are Shaq, Isaiah Thomas. These are the people that were nominated. Rodman was nominated for the actual team. I'm glad we're like. How did Draymond Green get on an Olympic basketball team? like that. He literally talked his way into all-star games and Olympic teams.
Right.
Because people like Terry will sit here and listen to him say he's really good, but he's not actually doing anything. Like,
Right.
I have nobody playing this year, and he's still averaging 7.
Yeah, they don't have Steph, and well, they were
what
getting ready
happens
to
when
have Steph,
when
but
Draymond's the leader of your team, you go 7-50.
Jeez.
they're bad.
So,
man.
so he's better than, I
Right.
don't even get in
All
that.
right, Jordan won 3 championships, 3 scoring titles, named NBA MVP twice, named Finals MVP 3 times, all defensive first team 3 times, all within a 32-month span while missing 0 games.
Special.
32-month
Special.
span.
I want you to send me that picture.
All right,
I want you to send that to me.
I can't.
I just pulled something up. This is interesting stats. Most minutes played for the Bulls ever, Michael Jordan. Most rebounds for the Bulls ever, Michael Jordan. Most assists ever, Michael Jordan. Most steals ever, Michael Jordan. And most points, Michael Jordan.
Now imagine that. Imagine that.
Besides Jordan being in Chicago, how many championships have they won in the history of the team?
0.
They should have won another one, but
Yeah.
they fell short with Derrick Rose.
All right, Hunter.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that team was good enough to win a championship. Just the injuries hit them
Yeah.
at the wrong time.
All right, Hunter. Before I move on,
Go ahead.
to something else.
Yeah.
To more important things.
Mhm.
I do got one more stat.
Tell me.
This
Give me
has,
the
this
stat.
has nothing to do with Jordan.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
The Knicks
We've talked about Jordan for 40
The
minutes.
Knicks had support. Has it been that long? Jeez.
Yeah.
The Knicks have had support internally for a deal that would have sent Julius Randle, Dennis Smith, and a first-round pick to the Hornets
Uh-huh.
for Terry
Imagine
Rozier
that.
and Malik Monk.
Imagine
They
that.
didn't do it?
Imagine that.
Who didn't do it? The
said-
Hornets?
The Hornets didn't
No,
do
no,
that.
it was the Knicks.
They
Oh.
didn't do. Oh, the Knicks
I would
didn't.
love to have
I
Julius
think
Randle.
it was the Knicks.
No,
I actually
no.
like
Julius
Julius
Randle walking in is a 20 and 10 guy easily.
Yeah, that's
On the court, he's
Emeka
2010. Yeah, but he'll go out there and get the job done. They don't need Terry Rozier. I would have been iffy on the. You could have done that deal to me. I know cap wise, it probably wouldn't have matched up without Dennis Smith Jr. Because they don't. I mean, well, if you're going to give up a 2 guard, you might as well get a guard back. But they have guys off the bench that could do that. But it's beside the point. I'm just getting at they don't need Terry Rozier because they've got Devontae Graham who plays better than him and is cheaper than him and is younger than him. So that trade would have been fantastic. And remember, I was talking about that when it was prime time trade deadline. I said, this is something that is rumored that could happen for the Hornets between them and the Knicks. And if I was the Hornets, I'd pull the trigger. And it didn't happen.
He's been rumored. Julius Randle's been rumored a lot for the Hornets, and I think that would be good for both of them.
What I don't understand is why the Hornets didn't make a run at him when it came to free agency, because that's how the Knicks got him. They just got him this past offseason in free agency because they couldn't land Kevin Durant and they couldn't land Anthony Davis.
We could put a decent team together with him and is it Graham?
Oh, yeah.
Graham's
That'd be a good pick and roll.
I think it would too.
I think it'd be a good, real good pick and roll.
In the NBA,
Julius Randle can shoot a mid-range and 3-shot too, so he fits the 4 spot perfectly.
NBA's changing
in today's
too
game.
from going from a. I like this. They're going from a 3 superstar team back to 2s. And I like more of the 2-player superstar teams.
Well, I think it's becoming that way because more and more stars. I think they see all the backlash Kevin Durant got, and and what LeBron got when he joined up with the Heat, when Kevin Durant joined up with the Golden State Warriors and made these quote unquote super teams, and they're like, why can't I do it on my own? Maybe with like one extra person, you know? I think that's the mentality. They're all buddy. We know that they all go and play together in summer leagues and in spring ball until the season starts up. If their seasons are done. So all the players are buddy with each other. Nobody really hates anybody. Just, I think the mentality now, because I think they have thin enough skin that they're like, I really don't want to be labeled, the Kevin Durant of like a traitor. If you can't beat him, join him, And I like that. I agree. I think in Giannis's heart, he means it when he says he would like to bring a championship to Milwaukee. But I think he
does not need to go to Golden State.
I know he doesn't, but I think he's going to realize that he can't do it with Chris Middleton. He's going to need one other superstar. The problem is I don't think Milwaukee's got the kind of pull that a Golden State or a Miami or somebody else has to bring in that next superstar.
Toronto slipped in and got theirs.
Yeah, but Toronto's a
big city. I understand that.
It is a huge city.
I think Durant winning the championship with the Thunder would have been a whole lot better for his resume than going to Golden State and just tacking
If Kevin, I bring that up all the time.
His problem was Russell Westbrook.
That was his problem, but I bring this up all the time.
Skip talked about it.
Kids, there are going to be kids someday that you look at them and say, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant all played on the same team and didn't win a championship. And they're going to be like, there's no way.
Well, here's the thing.
And I'll be like, yeah, it was the Thunder.
Russell Westbrook is an alpha. Kevin Durant's not an alpha. He's always going to take a back seat. And we'll see how he does with the Nets with Kyrie. Kyrie's the alpha in that.
Kyrie is a cancer. He's not an alpha. He's a cancer.
But why did they go to the Nets?
No,
because Kyrie wanted to go to the Nets.
How
I
are
think
you
the problem? I think Kevin's okay being an alpha. I think the problem is
I think he's a different kind of alpha. I don't think he's a vocal alpha.
The problem is, Zach, is that Westbrook shot more than he did.
Mm-hmm.
And if they would have just cut that back, no matter what team Kevin Durant is on, he needs to have the most shots.
I agree.
Whether it just name anybody, I don't care. Klay Thompson, I don't care. Whatever team he's on, he needs to have the most shots. And when Westbrook would take more than him, they would lose. I mean, it was just flat out. And Jordan wouldn't put up with that. Kobe wouldn't put up with that.
They knew. Kevin Durant even knew. He said that was Steph's team, but Steph knew he had to defer.
Right, Durant
to KD.
still took more shots than Steph.
He still took more shots than KD.
It's kind of unfair with him being. Is he a 6'11"?
Yeah, he's 6'11".
That's unfair.
Everyone that plays with him says he's 7 foot. He don't like to call himself a 7-footer. So he
think he's
wants
like
to
7
list,
foot
he
with
wants
like
to list,
shoes on.
He wants to list
and
at
where
6'10",
how does he
6'11".
shoot? You know what I'm saying? He's shooting what? He's undefendable
Oh, it's not,
on
the release.
Yeah.
High when someone tries to high point him, they can't do it.
If he had a post game, if he had Dirk's fadeaway, Zach, and that's what I don't understand about LeBron. LeBron has been here 17 years.
He ain't developed it.
Jordan started working that. He saw
and even Kobe did.
And the reason Jordan did is he saw what Hakeem Olajuwon did on the post, and Kobe did the same thing. And as a basketball player, I'm telling you that position, someone who can do that, is so valuable because he can score almost in so many ways and affect the team that way.
Kevin Durant is literally pick your spot, and that's it. He just looks at a spot, he goes to it, and it's his.
He shoots straight up, straight on, squared up.
By the time he's up at his high point, he's looking down at the rim.
If him and LeBron did Dirk fadeaways, it would be ridiculous. I tell you what would be nasty for Kevin Durant to learn would be a sky hook.
That would be unstoppable.
Oh my god! Because he's already got the touch
and he's got the length.
So I watched the first Shaq versus Yao Ming game.
If Yao wouldn't have got hurt, he would have been locked.
Shaq had a ton of trouble.
Yeah.
With Yao.
He's huge.
The first 2 times down the court, Shaq tried to body him and just take it into him and dunk on him. Yao blocked him.
Like, I want you to think about this.
And then Yao got a dunk on his first attempt. So the first 3 possessions was 2. Shaq gets his blocked shot twice. Yao dunks on it. And then at the end of the game, Yao made 2 free throws.
Skyhook, Kevin Durant. He's already 6'11", 7'5" wingspan.
Yeah.
7'5" wingspan. Who's getting up there?
The only problem I see with Kevin Durant is when you see him on the court, and then you look at his legs.
Oh, they're this big.
I've never seen anything like it.
That's probably why his thing.
I've never seen anything like it.
Achilles blue.
Yeah, but he never had a major injury until now.
We got a little fun, Hunter. You want to have some fun today?
We can have some fun.
I got some fun for you. We may have a bunch of people change the channel or tune into what I'm about to do. We're going to talk a little Wrestlemania.
Figured so.
It's this weekend.
Still doing it 2-night event.
Zach, have you ever seen anything like what's about to happen? They're gonna
no fans.
Most everything's already taped.
Wrestle with
what I hear
with no fans.
No fans.
They're
They're doing it at the Orlando, their performance center.
What would be nice if they didn't do this on a pay-per-view and you could somehow, most Americans watch it. Like, with nothing
on
TV, you'd think Vince could get one of the networks.
Yeah, he could have struck
maybe,
up a pretty good deal.
Clash of Champions was bought by the networks because Wrestlemania, if you remember, was their headliner, and they bring in Clash of Champions to go head-to-head with it just to take money out of Vince's pocket.
Yeah.
They could do something like that and just, that would take some of the heat off of him.
Right, it would seem to me like someone like CBS, who's supposed to be having basketball right now.
And Fox owns them.
And FS1.
Fox, yeah, FS1 does the SmackDown, so they don't own them. They just give them all money.
I was about to say, it's strange that it's pay-per-view because FS1 they're promoting the hell out of it. When I'm listening to Colin's show and they go to a commercial break, and then they come back, it's like, don't forget WrestleMania this weekend.
WrestleManias are in a big arena too, with tons of fans and theatrics, and I just don't know what they're going to do or how they're going to do it.
I don't even know how you don't feed off the crowd,
right,
as a wrestler. Like,
what if you're a heel?
Right.
That's the only thing you did.
It's yeah.
Well, what if they had Stone Cold up there throwing empty beer cans into the empty seats?
You get one.
You
get one.
Well, Hunter, what I really wanted to talk about was Dirty Dick Slater.
Jesus, I'm glad you said Slater at the end of that. Good God.
I wanted to talk about Dirty Dick Slater.
Yeah, Kevin asked me.
And Zach knew exactly who he was. Had some things to say about him, too.
He flushed Sting's head down a commode in real life.
Because he drove his ex-girlfriend to a match.
Yeah, because she didn't have a ride because he broke up with her.
Cornette said nobody messed with the Dirty Dick Slater.
There's a couple guys you didn't mess with. He was one. Dick Murdoch was another. Blackjack Mulligan. And then nobody messed with Andre.
The names are so funny. I mean, just the names. Like, can't you just see Vince McMahon sitting in a room
and spitballing names?
Dirty Dick Slater.
Like I told you about Mastodon. They had Vader coming in, and he says, he
tried to rename Van Vader to Mastodon.
Van Vader's like he's at least top 15.
He's popular, yeah.
And he was a WCW champion. He was huge in Japan, and Cornette's talking about Van Vader coming there, and he's like, we're going to name him the Mastodon. And he's like, he's Vader.
Everybody knows.
You rename Vader and the Mastodon. Why do you want to name the Mastodon? He looks like a Mastodon to me.
God Almighty.
So, and they've always said this even about Undertaker. They said there's nobody that could have done what he did with. He said there was one of the big wrestlers. I can't remember who his name was. He said, if I went there and sat down and he presented me with the Undertaker, he's like, my career's over. But Undertaker took it and made it. He said nobody else could have done it. Said it would have been in a tank.
Hunter, I'm gonna pull up that art. What they were talking about.
Undertaker,
right? So I want Zach explain to him the entrance, the how we got the Undertaker.
I was fixing it. I was going to that. It's funny you was doing it.
This is a changing. You talk about your Mount Rushmores,
right?
His entrance, and him coming into the sport. It definitely was a change in wrestling.
So it was a holiday tradition. Kevin, those guys always had the big satellite, right? Mm-hmm. So every time we would eat Thanksgiving dinner or whatever, we would always leave there, and I would go spend the night with them. We would go watch Survivor Series. Survivor Series is when Undertaker came out. It's 1989, and they kept announcing $1 Million Man had this mystery partner, and they were going to be wrestling Dusty Rhodes' team, and I'll never forget he come out, and let's say it was 89. Kevin was 7. He was 82, and I was 11.
Well,
and I'm
if it was in the spring, I'd been 6.
It was Thanksgiving night.
So I just turned 7.
So that's Judah's age, but we can vividly remember that. But and he comes out.
You think Judah and Austin could remember wrestling matches like
they wouldn't even watch it? So he comes out, and kids are crying in the front row because they're so scared of him. He's got the looks like he's been working out in the field somewhere digging up graves, and then he comes out and he no-sells everything.
We had no idea who it was.
No idea. Like they just dropped him.
Had no names.
Yeah.
No nothing.
For whom the bell tolls.
That original one was when he was first coming out. Come out $1 Million Man. He no sells everything. Destroy. I mean, Dusty Rhodes was a big name.
This is WrestleMania 30 that's not the highlights on it. But this was talking about one of the most memorable matches with WrestleMania 30. Zach's talking about
89 Survivor Series. Should have never lost WrestleMania match.
Tombstone City. That's impressive. R.I.P.
Who'd they let beat him? Was it Brock?
Yes.
For what reason? So Vince made a couple $50,000 or so.
Stone Cold said he was in the back watching, or actually he was in one of the trailers watching. He said my mouth dropped. He said I just didn't see that happen. He said there was no reason.
Right.
You didn't have to do it. I mean he said there's nothing else. Nobody else ever going to touch that longevity or anything, and they dropped the ball. Now they said he made the call to do it though. Undertaker did, because he always wanted to give back, and he just said I just didn't think he needed to do it. But this is why I think he's on my top 4. We talked about our top 4. And that's why I put him on top 4.
Well, yeah, never losing it at
In 30 years.
got one of the greatest entrances ever.
It's his 31st year in WWE right now, not counting his WCW years.
Really big guy.
Yeah, he was 6'10".
You almost got to give Vince some credit for coming up with him too, with the Undertaker. Paul Bearer too was
He
awesome.
landed on his head there. Yeah, Paul Bearer for the longest time made it. And you got Brother Love. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Brother Love. They would always come out on his show, and they hyped the whole thing up. I mean, he come out, and I'll never forget him ripping off Hogan. You know, he was wearing the cross, and he ripped off Hogan's cross, and it was great. That was a great time. But yeah.
All right, so that brought us up. You know, we've done our own. I don't want to really get into it. The
Mount Rushmore.
Our own Mount Rushmore. We had Flair, Undertaker, Hogan, and Andre the Giant. The reason I brought some of this up is The Rock was on here the other day giving his. He had Flair, Hogan, Stone Cold, and he left the fourth one up for interpretation.
Yeah, he did it like we
the,
did our football
Right.
wide receiver.
Right.
He said he was on the back of the mountain. Me and Zach put Sting and maybe Macho on the back of the mountain, and then we had a bunch of nominations. Just some of these are fun, some of them are not. You know, of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Lex Luger, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Dusty Rhodes, DDP, Goldberg, Triple H, Brock Lesnar, Ricky Steamboat, Van Vader, Kane, Mick Foley. Some of the most popular ones that we can remember if we left anybody off.
Now
we're sorry, Jake the Snake Roberts. I guess we forgot him on there.
Now with your dad sitting in
Mr. T wrestled.
And Roddy Piper.
And you mentioned Roddy Piper.
Your dad's in there, and if we ask him, I'm sure he would bring up some of the older guys like Wahoo McDaniel, Giant Baba,
Gorgeous,
Boogie Woogie
Gorgeous
Man,
George.
Gorgeous George. I know he would do Boogie Woogie Man since he got a smooch back here in the Cherville back in the day.
Yeah, he kissed
from
that.
Boogie Woogie
Hunter.
What? Excuse me?
So we're at a wrestling
The
event,
Boogie Woogie Man.
and he had to go in and be the ring announcer, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Boogie Woogie Man comes out. I don't know if you've ever seen this guy. You ought to bring him up.
I am.
You know, coming out doing his,
What was the song he cut? Yeah.
Cool kitty.
That's the song he came out to.
Come
Cool kitty.
Oh my
Talk
God.
about the girls from boy from New York City.
So he comes in and he's doing his dance and stuff, and Calvin's right there, and he grabs Calvin. He puts a smooch right on his lips, right
Good
in the
God.
middle. And me and him's little, and we're just
Yeah.
dying laughing. It was great. You know, he's like, wow.
The Boogie Woogie Man.
He's still wrestling today. He looks horrible.
Yeah,
I think he's about 80.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
He's got a
man.
face tattoo.
Good Lord. Good Lord.
Him and his brother went in the Hall of Fame as Johnny Valiant and Jimmy Valiant. The
Was
Valiant
Valiant
brothers.
there that night? Was Jimmy Valiant in Cherville that night?
Yeah.
That seemed like I thought I remember having the people on the side. Now that looks familiar. That picture.
That is definitely about what he looked like when he was here.
That might be from Cherville there, Hunter.
was in the
Oh,
Cherville
man.
High School locker room.
It was in they wrestled in the Cherville Nixon gym, the basketball gym.
They come out from the
Jesus.
visitor side, and they would come out
Yeah.
from the home side. Even I remember this: the Barbarian came,
Yeah.
and they said the Barbarian. Now Barbarian still don't talk really well, but he's from around this area. Actually, y'all had him up there wrestling at the Ford place.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. Then.
And they said he was somebody walked in and they was talking in the back and he was just talking normal, but he doesn't really talk normal. You can do videos and listen to him now. He still doesn't talk really normal.
So I was putting of course I dropped my
Good Lord.
Andre's thing is Kevin always drops everything, and then Andre goes and throws ranch dressing all over the hallway.
Yeah, he flare chops some ranch dressing in the hallway.
Good Lord.
All right, Zach. I was going through some of the most memorable matches.
Oh, yeah.
Any ones in particular you remember that stands out as far as WrestleMania?
The number one WrestleMania
Hogan
match
Giant.
of all time was the undercard to that match was Macho Man Savage and Ricky Steamboat. That is supposedly the greatest match of all time.
I tell you, the one I remember is when they came out, and they came out in little wrestling rings.
That was 3.
You know what I'm talking about?
That was 3 because that's when they brung Andre out.
Right, and he had his own little wrestling ring.
Yeah, and Brain was with him, and it was a long entryway. That would have been the Pontiac Silverdome that they done that. But Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat is considered the best WrestleMania match of all time, and it was before Hogan Andre, and they actually kind of stole the show on that one. Even though Andre and Hogan was great on that. Another match that I didn't think the match was good, but the build up to the match was awesome. Was Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan.
I was just say Yokozuna.
No,
remember that? I remember that was a big one.
Luger, Yokozuna was good.
Who body slammed him? Was it Hogan?
Luger
body
Luger's
slammed
the one. He's the one that came. They was doing the Lex Express. Remember they gave him the bus and he was traveling all around the country, and then he shows up and he slams Yoko.
Okay. This is what I'm talking about, Hunter. Check out this entry.
They was riding a little wrestling.
Like they had litty bitty rings, and that's what they came in on. Kind of like the baseball carts, the golf cart with the helmets on them.
Right.
But that's what they came. I thought I remember that one. So I remember seeing him come in. That right there come in on that to the ring.
So that would be probably the top match. Now Hogan Rock is considered WrestleMania 18 way up on the list of, because Hogan at that time came in as the NWO guy. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
And The Rock was going to wrestle him. And when they get into the ring, the crowd is 50-50. And The Rock was the top face at the time. And Rock even talked about it. He said, I had to go back to playing the heel. He said, because they was wrestling for Hogan. They was cheering for Hogan, excuse me.
Right.
So that was a
right
there it is.
Number 8 on the ESPN list of greatest matches.
So Hogan, Andre's top. Surely they had Ricky Steamboat and Macho on there.
I saw Macho somewhere. Let me scroll down through here. 4 Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
2 was Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold.
That was the one that Mike Tyson showed up. Was for Stone Cold.
Then they got a girls match.
That girls match was awesome. It was probably it was Flair. And who did she wrestle that match? Flair and
Said Becky Hammond or something.
Becky Lynch.
There's Piper and Hulk. Who'd you say you was?
Ricky Steamboat and
Steamboat.
Ricky Steamboat and right there it is. That's the number one match of all time. But they got it at 16.
They don't even have a picture.
You
of
ask
it.
anybody today what was the best match? They were so mad that they did so good that they didn't want to go out after them.
And the one below that is the ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon.
They actually
listen. I tell you what, Scott Hall was entertaining.
He was.
I don't care what anybody says about it. He might not be that great a wrestler. He might be whatever he is, a drunk jerk, whatever. He was entertaining no matter what. And I liked watching Scott Hall.
They had Scott Hall talking about this match on a podcast the other day.
Hey, Chico.
And he says, everybody, he said, they even want me to sign that picture, the one that you see right there.
Right, yeah.
And he says, I won the match. And I'm be the one getting splashed. You know, he said, I won the match, if you don't remember. He said, the funny thing about that one was, he said, there was only one ladder in the whole building. He said, if we tear that ladder up, nobody's getting that belt. He said, we didn't even think about it.
They couldn't even get up to it if the ladder broke. All right, Zach and Hunter, I got some quick, here is someone else's, Zach, dream WrestleMania matchups. See what you think. What? Daddy's pointing at us for some reason. Oh, old time wrestlers. There you go. Johnny Weaver is his
He
favorite.
must have heard us.
He put the sleeper hold. George Becker, Hawk and Swede Hansen, Haystack Calhoun, the Flying Scots, the Anderson brothers, and Brute Bernard and the Skull Murphy.
That
Hunter,
was probably Oldie and Gene. That was probably
Hunter,
even before they
what?
brung Arn in.
do you think those are real names, or he
That's
just
real.
made those up sitting right there?
Calvin, what's the name generator that you use? It sounds real good.
It'll take a minute before he gets in there too. All right, Zach. Here's some dream matches, and I'm not going to name the name. Taker versus Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels versus The Rock. Iron Man match of Kurt Angle versus Bret Hart. Mr. Perfect versus John Cena. Dudley Boys versus The Revival.
Actually, Dudley Boys versus the Legion of Doom.
The Snake versus Hulk Hogan. Trish versus Sasha Banks. If that makes any sense to you. I don't watch any of the women's stuff. Macho Man versus Chris Jericho. 6-man tag. Wyatt versus The Shield. And Eddie Guerrero versus Ricky Steamboat. Any of those that would entice your viewing would want to see? Undertaker, Andre the Giant? No comments, just thinking.
I'm thinking. the one that
Who would you want to see Sting wrestle the most?
Oh, Taker.
Was it Undertaker?
Yeah, I had something in my mind. It was Flair Hogan.
You know who would have been entertaining in WWE in their primes was Sting and Macho.
Ric
I always
Flair,
thought Macho put on a good show.
Ric Flair
He
said,
would jump and fly from everywhere around and everything.
Flair said that Sting would have been bigger than Hogan.
Could
Whether
have.
that would happen, I don't know.
To me, Sting's the most versatile wrestler maybe ever.
Yeah.
Like pick a wrestler he could do a match with almost. Like he could jump around with people. He could fight people to bully them around, whatever. A little bit of everything. I got one question for you, Zach. Hunter may have never even heard of him,
Okay.
but this person I love to watch.
The Great Muta. That's awesome, ain't it?
I didn't even say it. That's what I'm looking at. The Great Muta. How do you knew that? I want to see a match of him. Who would be a best match of him and someone? There's no way you just read that out of my damn mind. I got a list of like 25 wrestlers.
Great Muta.
I didn't even get it out of my mouth.
That was Sting's best rivalry, I thought.
You ever
I
heard
thought
of?
better
You ever heard
Flair.
of him, Hunter?
I hated him.
The
I mean, I liked him,
the
but I
Great
hated him. He was
Muta?
a great bad guy.
No.
He would come out and he would spit green stuff in your eyes before the match started.
I don't even know how to spell it.
MUTA.
Oh, that was very. I was over here. MOUTHA. MO what?
MUTA.
MUT. The Great Muta.
He owns the wrestling overseas now, New Japan.
What about him versus Rey Mysterio?
Ray's too fast. I would rather have him against.
Like Hunter.
I think Eddie Guerrero and him be good.
This may be the most versatile. I mean, not versatile. Vertical. Athletic wrestler ever.
So, you talking about Muta?
Yeah,
That ain't him there, is it?
that says the Great Muta.
It don't look like him. Maybe that's what he looks like now.
That's what it looks like now.
Put 90s. Put the Great Muta 90s. So they had this match, Hunter. I don't know if Kevin remember this or not. It was the Great Muta and Flair versus Terry Funk. No, I told you wrong. It was Flair and Sting versus Terry Funk and the Great Muta.
Sting was in a ton of matches with Muta.
So it was Flair and Sting versus Great Muta and Terry Funk.
There's Muta
Yeah.
with his face paint on.
Now, he would carry this capsule in his mouth because he wanted to spit green stuff. They had them in an electrified cage. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The cage caught on fire, and Muta had to go spit it out with his green mouth stuff before the match started. Is that not awesome?
So Hunter,
Yeah.
vertical game, ropes, turnbuckles, and I'm talking backflips.
Right.
Like he looked like a gymnast out there wrestling against these guys, and put on, like I said, he put on a wonderful show. He was big enough to he wasn't small like Rey Mysterio, and he
No.
could wrestle. So he could wrestle actually
I mean,
bigger people
I'm
to
just
make it
sitting
look
here
good.
looking up names that I would recognize, obviously from when I was younger. That isn't a big name from the Attitude Era, obviously, like
you
Ric Flair,
Right.
and Stone Cold and Goldberg, and I'm just looking at two of them. I remember kids used to talk about all the time in elementary school. Big Show was a big name for me growing up, and Bautista was a huge name.
First time I ever seen Big Show, he was the Giant.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anybody that big in my life.
I mean, besides everybody talking about The Rock and
he's
John
not even that
Cena.
big.
No, he's actually smaller than Shaq.
He's not that big.
So does that tell you how big Yao Ming really is?
Oh yeah.
Shaq's actually taller than Big Show. They actually was in the ring at the
Big
same
Show's
time.
only like 6'11". Is he 7 foot?
He's
Build
not.
height. Build height is 7 foot.
He is 7 foot because
Build weight's 383 pounds.
pull up.
Biggin.
He'll have to do it. Pull up. Is somebody making comments?
Yeah, we got some. We got
Kind of
some
funny.
people.
Wanted some Steven Regal.
Oh, there's Tom Cinderfar. There's Tom. He must be a wrestling
Hey,
fan.
Tom.
He wanted some.
Like and share, buddy.
What about the British Bulldog?
British Bulldog was great back in the day.
The Great Moodle. That's fun. That's insane. You just guessed that out of my head. It's not insane, but I mean, I just said he
Steven
was really
Regal.
entertained to
Tom
watch.
says Steven Regal. Listen, do you know that Tom? If you're listening still, do you know that Steven Regal got fired from WCW for embarrassing Goldberg in a match?
Did he? Oh,
Yeah,
well.
because Goldberg was going out doing these 30-second squash matches, and he said he's not going to do that to me, and they're going to let. I'm not going to let him do that to me, and he goes out there and puts him in an arm bar, and doesn't let him pin him. And then he lays down and let him pin him, and they fire Regal for that. They said, Regal, you don't mess with. He was one of the guys you do not mess with. He was a legitimate bad
I don't
dude.
think there's any show out there that gives wrestling more of a highlight right now than we do.
I love wrestling.
It's been what 3-4 straight. We're just he comes up somehow. It's
Well,
okay.
Well,
but-
Hunter, when there's no sports to talk about,
right.
Pull up.
Vince
You gotta
McMahon's
talk about
doing the
entertainment.
XFL.
So
You gotta
he's
talk
doing-
about entertainment.
This is the great mood here. He's probably going to do his spit, but I did want everybody to see the Big Show and Shaq in the ring at the same time. There was the green spit. He had to use that to put out the cage that time. It was awesome.
The Great Muda.
Now you hear Terry Funk talking in the background on this, and they wind up teaming with him against Sting and Flair for that match I was telling you about. But they had good chemistry. Those two did.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the things I meant about like Sting about being versatile is that he could wrestle Muda and then turn around and wrestle with Hogan and them guys too. Flair and Sting had some good matchups.
They could do it with their eyes closed. The only one I think that was better with Flair than Sting was, and I think Flair would even tell you this, was Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
They could do he called a 60-minute Broadway, which that means nobody wins.
It's hard to put a rubber band into a pretzel and tie up a rubber band. That's about Muda was. And Andre will come down here and tell you, why does anybody care what's going on Sunday? It's all written in fake. I was like, okay. Oh goodness! The great Muda.
Pull up the Big Show and Shaq.
I was trying to get him jumping around.
Oh, you want to get
somewhere.
the fun one is Muda puts out the fire on the cage.
So athletic and supple. I mean, that boy has.
You know it's gonna pull it up.
We'll see. Halloween Havoc.
Is it a
Flair.
cage?
It says Ric Flair and Sting versus
That's it.
Muda and Terry Funk.
Yeah, because the before they even start the match, it catches on fire. They put an electrified ring. Who does that? Who wants to wrestle in that? I mean, that's like Mick Foley with the rings that blew up.
So
and
you know
stuff.
Mick Foley, Hunter?
I know,
Mankind.
So
I know
Mankind,
the
Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, and
Dude Love.
Dude Love. What about Val Venus, Zach?
Hated him.
I had a friend who liked some Val Venus.
Look how big that cage was anyway. Now, Muda's,
Is this after it's already happened then, I guess? Because they're wrestling.
it must have been. Maybe it wasn't.
I don't know.
But anyway, if you get a chance to watch, that's good where the ring actually catches on fire.
Exploding cage death match. I don't know what that
That's horrible. And
There's
like I said,
mood on the games.
The first time I ever saw Big Show, and I said he was a giant. I was actually, it was in Bojangles Arena. I don't know what they called it. They could still call it Bojangles Arena down in Charlotte?
Yes.
On Independence. See, that's a small arena.
Yes.
So we had seats mid-range up.
It's about 9,000 people. It's pretty much the same size, actually, Hunter, as Appalachian's basketball court and Duke. Duke's is shaped different. Duke's is a square.
Anywhere
not
you sit
not
there, you got a
round.
good seat.
Right.
And you could see him
I
coming
saw
out.
Sting. We saw we went to Nitro there, and it was Sting came out. There's no really rafters there.
No, there's not.
So he had to come out the side of the ceiling, and he didn't ever come down to the ring. He just showed up, and that was pretty much it. But I did get to actually see Sting come out of the ceiling.
I went to watch Nitro there also, and that's when Kevin Nash and Scott Hall had showed up. So there's a guy going through after the matches are over, and he's chanting "Diesel's unleaded" because he was Diesel in WWF.
Oh my goodness!
So great stuff.
I'm trying to pull up the match for Zach. Was wanting to see how Shaq's taller than Kane and the Big Show here. It should. Even if you didn't do YouTube, you could probably do. There's a standoff between them. Yeah, that's what this says. Shaq enters the battle royale.
And he is taller than Big Show.
Yeah, he's definitely taller than him.
Shaq's like 7'2".
7'2", and so Big Show literally is 7 foot.
I don't know how much I like Dustin Rhodes. I don't get the gold dust stuff.
I got something for you,
I thought he was
Kevin.
pretty
If
decent.
you haven't seen it already
What?
after this.
What?
Well, first of all, shout out to Terry Reinhart. He's not in the chat, but he did send this to us, and you're getting ready to see it if you open.
He sent a text. I didn't look at
If
it.
you look at the text, and I had to double check to make sure it wasn't fake, so I went to
There it
North
is. See how
Carolina.
much taller he is. Evan?
Oh yeah, he is substantially bigger. I had to go to North Carolina's football Twitter page
There you go, Kevin.
to see if this was legit.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, and essentially what it was,
Just don't choke each other.
just,
What's that?
they both choked.
That's a three-way choke. It was a three-way choke.
That's 3-0 choke.
Colin
Eh,
said, "Don't."
Yeah, if
call
he
him
wants
hot
us,
garbage.
don't
I
call him
don't know
hot
what that
garbage
is.
if he wants us to. If he wants us him to like and share. Okay, I'm sorry,
I didn't hear-
Tom.
I didn't hear
you
you say
know
that,
we
so I
you
must
know
have
we
missed
don't
it. I
mean
must have
it.
missed it.
What?
Hot garbage.
Who's
He
talking
must be.
about?
Oh,
Probably
you're talking
talking-
about Steven Regal.
Oh.
No, I don't. Look, anyways, breaking: Keenan Stadium is to replace the synthetic grass with new Carolina blue playing surface.
I don't like it.
I'm not hot on it either, but a lot of what is it? Eastern Washington's got the red field.
I don't
Boise
like it.
State's got the Boise bluegrass, and North Carolina's deciding. Cincinnati, the Bearcats have the black turf. North
Sorry.
Carolina's jumping up on it, I guess.
I'm sorry about breaking in, but I just had one of the greatest matches of all time pop in my mind.
Yeah.
Magnum TA, Tully Blanchard, I Quit match. They're in a cage,
Yeah.
and they have the old microphones that have the cord, so they have to run the cord through the cage. And Magnum is beating the microphone into Tully's head and then making him
Talk to it.
It's great. So I played it for Gabby one time, and she's like, turn it off. I can't watch anymore because there's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
That was a great. So that's two more greats that we didn't name.
Hunter,
Sorry.
Keenan Stadium to replace synthetic grass with new Carolina blue playing surface. I don't know if the people can see
Don't like it.
the University of North Carolina
It's not
Hold on,
going to
Hunter.
focus in like that.
is a complete joke. Back it up.
Yeah, because I
He
saw the
picked it
blue
up
for
a
a minute.
second ago,
Yeah, it's horrible. Don't like it.
Regardless,
Syracuse.
regardless
I
they're
will say-
making the field Carolina blue.
I will say this.
Carolina blue.
A lighter color is better than a darker color. That's about all I can say to it.
I don't like it.
I mean, Cincinnati.
Are they going to replace their synthetic coach? That's my question. Are they going to
Their synthetic-
replace their synthetic
Their
head coach?
synthetic coach has worked really hard to get a lot of top recruits, so I think they're going to
that's
be
cute.
fine with that.
That's cute. If you don't call the right play, Hunter, or put him in the right position,
Well,
hey, he might recruit 55-star athletes, but they don't know what positions they're going to play
well,
until
let me
they
tell you
get there.
something. Do you think Dabo Swinney, at the end of the day, is a special teams coach? That's where he got his start. And you mean to tell me he's the one that's putting them in the right positions, all these star athletes that he goes out and recruits, that's not his coordinators? A special teams guy is calling the shots on the offensive and defense side of the ball. Now, I'm not calling into question his ability to be a head coach
Hunter,
just because he's obviously won a
Hunter,
national championship.
you
But
do-
at the same time,
you
in
do know
college
it's-
football, you have to have talent. If you don't have talent,
Right.
what good is your play calling?
You do know today is April Fool's Day, too.
I know it's April Fool's Day. I hope it's fake.
He got
just
burned
saying.
on one himself
We
today.
about did earlier.
Listen, I'm
Or I'm gonna get a
hoping.
phone charger.
I'm hoping this is a big April Fool's thing for North Carolina to change their field turf color to blue. I hope it is.
And I will bring up one thing too. There's not many. One person that Kevin dislikes more than he dislikes Cam Newton is Mike Trout. And today they've got on ESPN from Mays to Trout.
I don't dislike either one of them, actually. My thing
They're just overhyped.
is the Danny Green saying is, why don't we just crown them then?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, let's wait till the games are over. Be honest. If one person says Cam won MVP and Mike Trout won MVP, but then I give you stats to show someone else had a better season than them, I'm not hating. I'm just saying maybe someone got more votes from people. It's voting.
I don't have a problem with Mike Trout in today's MLB. I got a problem putting him on Mount Rushmore right now.
Right.
It drives me insane.
Right.
I can't even stand it. It skews my view of him because of how the younger people just say he's the best, and I don't even see it now.
No. Big thing.
No offense, Hunter.
A big thing
I don't
about
think
that,
you do
and it's
though.
just
No, I don't think
in today's baseball, is that you just can't convince me, Zach, that striking out is better than putting the ball in play and getting out some other way. You can't convince me that a walk is just the same as a single, and that on base percentage, you'd rather have the guy that walked than the guy who knocked him in. You know what I mean? Like if anybody to me can walk, you just watching balls go by, but not anybody can knock people in on base, and whether it's you don't have to hit a double to knock someone in. And it's moving base runners over as well. If you got a guy on second base and one out, if you get a walk, now you got double play situation. But if a guy flies out to right, you move the runner to third. The WAR will tell you that the guy should have walked. But if you walk 4 times, you got to walk 4 times to get one home run. And the on-base percentage thing is that you can have an on-base percentage over 1,000 in a Major League Baseball game. You can get on base 4 times an inning, 36 times a game.
It's April Fool's. Thank God.
Told you.
Thank God that somebody is
on-base-
not that stupid at the University of North
The
Carolina.
on-base percentage
Thank
thing
God.
is you can get on base 4 times an inning and never score. You can walk 4 times an inning and never score, and I can hit 1 home run, and everyone else on my team strike out. And I'm on-base percentage. Yours is 1,000, and mine is 0.53, but I won. And to me, I'll always, Zach, I want the guy swinging the bat. Trout strikes out once a game. His batting average striking out is 250.
That means he's
Pujols-
not making contact.
Right. So how is the guy who strikes out twice as much as the other guy a better hitter? Because he walks more. That's the argument. Is that, say, me and Hunter have pretty much kind of the same stats, but he strikes out 100 times, I strike out 50. He gets 75 walks, I get 50. They say he's better because he got the 25 extra walks. And we don't even look at the 100 times you K'd. And as far as the double play stuff go, and people will say, well, double play is worse than a strikeout. If a strikeout, you don't do anything. You don't move a runner over. You don't do anything but get an out on yourself. And I would much rather have people hit the ball in play than sit up there. And if walks were so important, why do they have intentional walks? You know, if walks are so important, why do you even take the bat into the batter's box until you have 2 strikes? Shouldn't Mike Trout just stand there, Hunter, walk up to the plate, set his bat down outside the batter's box, stand there with his arms crossed until he gets 2 strikes on it?
So,
Because if that's what you're trying to do, and see, that's not baseball to me. And the thing with the same thing with the Cam thing, Zach, in the past 3 years, Hunter, you too, how many times have you heard someone say Matt Ryan MVP? Have you heard it from anyone? Do you know besides your cousin is a Falcons fan?
No, or you know, Skip Bayless, or if I'm watching Shannon Sharp, they'll just kind of they'll say like he was an MVP,
Right.
You know?
But
That's about it.
But that's the only thing
but if
anyone
someone was
ever
to bring
says.
up Matt Ryan, they don't say former MVP
Right.
Matt Ryan.
It's
They
a
say
different-
Matt
it's a different
Ryan.
They'll probably say
about-
3 and 28
Yeah.
before they'll
3
say
and
MVP.
28. Yeah.
28 to 3 before they would MVP.
Speaking of football, they did just pass.
Right.
They got a collective vote
on another
to
playoff
expand the playoffs by
game.
one team.
Another playoff team, not game.
Yeah. And what that does is essentially set it up to where the number one seed is the only team that's got to bye. Everybody else has
Right.
got to play.
Right.
Do you like it?
How about this? I'll give you.
I guess the question for both of you is, do you like it?
I love it, but I'll give you the fun stat.
I like the number one team getting
No
Yeah.
team since 2012 has made the Super Bowl without the bye. Mic drop. Wait a minute. See if anybody's watching.
Mic drop.
That's the best I can do.
Well, that's the
But
only way
the
that
thing
New
about it,
England has made it.
Exactly.
Without
Every year
the
New
bye.
England gets, they've only made it with the bye since Tom Brady was there. When the Panthers made the year they made it, they had the bye. If you get a bye, you only have to win 2 games to get to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. Just 2 games. And if one game, let's say, for example, Zach, Cam, and them, first game they play, Carson Palmer throws 4 picks. Cam don't even have to do anything in that game. The next game, it's 14-0 before Cam throws a pass.
Right.
So the Panthers made the Super Bowl without Cam actually doing anything in those games for the most part.
I like that they voted for this because, to me, essentially what it is, it's basically another wild card team.
Yeah.
And that means that the Rams last year, who were 9-7, would have made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how the matchup would have worked. I don't know who they would have drawn, but essentially you'll get more teams in that have winning records that are sitting there on the bubble. And I'm all for it. I'm all for having the best teams in the playoffs.
Here's where people are scared, and I think they're making a mistake. And I don't think
a
there's any
7-9
problem.
team getting in.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen
No, it's not.
because the extra one person team you're giving it to is going to have a winning record.
It's going to be a wild card.
The
That usually
teams that
gets
are going to
left
be
out.
the teams that are going to be 7-9 or 8-8 are going to be division winners.
Yes.
I don't think you'll ever have a wild card
That's
with a
7-9.
bat. Yeah, with a losing record. It's
They'll
almost
either
impossible.
be 8-8 or 9-7.
Right. I don't think that is an issue at all for any of these folks. And then also, Hunter, if you want to look at it from that end, more than likely, it's gonna, like you just said, it's gonna bring in more teams with 10 wins and stuff. The Bucks, however, I read the article. I think it was the 2014 Bucks won 10 games.
Yeah.
and they still wouldn't have made it under this format because another team had 10 games. So that was 8 teams that had 10 wins.
See, there's a
that
bunch
year.
of teams that had good records last year and just couldn't get in just because they didn't have the extra wild card
So
spot. And I like it. I think it's good.
This year,
I think it's really good.
It would have been Pittsburgh at 8-8. They would have played Kansas City in the first round. Then Titans versus Patriots in the first round. Bills and Texans. So it actually don't even affect the regular matchups.
It just is the number
The
2 team
seed
has to play.
the 7 seed.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
it don't even mix up the 3, 4, 7 spots. Now the only question I have now, we do have one question to fill. And we'll have to get answered coming up. Right now in the NFL, the 1 seed plays the lowest seed no matter what.
Yeah.
Are they going to keep that rule, or are they going to do an actual bracket where the 1 seed will play the 4-5 no matter what? You see what I mean?
I would do it that way. I think it would
the
be more
4-5?
interesting. I think it would be more interesting if they play the 4-5.
Because if you give them the bye and the worst seed, that's double.
That's a cakewalk to some people.
Right.
That's what they're going to give them. Watch.
You think they'll get, because that's what they've been doing forever.
Yeah.
You think the
I don't-
teams will
Well,
say,
if they do that, it's to essentially, to me, if
I think
they
that's
do
the only
that,
detail we need to figure out.
It's the NFL pushing forward that they want Kansas City to be back multiple times. Because I think Kansas City essentially can lock up a 1 seed next year and the year after in the AFC.
I'll take it.
If they play a 7 seed, then that's one
take
game
it
of
this
rest
way.
that you're giving Patrick Mahomes, and then he has to go out there and play an inferior defense.
I'll take it this way. That will make the regular season that much more important.
Oh, I think this, regardless, this makes the regular
Every
season so
single
much
game.
more important.
It was
because
already important anyway.
Everybody wants the 1 seed now because you can't just say, "Oh, we got a 2 seed, we'll be
Right.
okay."
with adding this many teams now in the football playoffs, as of this year, so in the NFC they would have added the Rams at 9-7.
Mm-hmm.
The only 2 teams that mean, well, let me put it this way: that means every team in the league that's 500 or better would have made the playoffs, except 2 at 8-8: Chicago Bears and the Dallas Cowboys. So looking at it, it takes every team 500 and better. There is 16 of the 32 teams are 500 and better, exactly half the league.
Mm-hmm.
And every one of them, the 14 of those 16 are in the playoffs. So it's basically saying winning records you're in.
It's rewarding.
You
winning.
have to if you
It's
have a
winning.
If you have a winning record, which means 9 wins, you're going to be in the playoffs.
The only way it wouldn't, like you said, is divisional winners. That's the only way.
Yeah,
divisional winners. They win the division at 8.
Panthers go 7-1 and
9.
win the division. That's the only way you're going to get these losing records. I think in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's it.
You can't go past 7 teams.
No,
you can't. And I think the NBA should actually back into the 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. The last few years
we've muddied up.
The last few years we've been wanting and predicting some of this stuff, and they're actually doing it, and it's kind of like weird because we've always been like, they'll never do that.
I think it's great
Don't
for
ever
the
change.
NFL because, like I said, it does make your regular season that much more
gives
important.
you 3
got
games.
one person,
It gives you-
one team on your side that gets to buy.
6 games on Wild Card Weekend.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
That's so awesome. So if you're in the NFC, it would have been Rams at Packers. Vikings and Saints still, Seahawks and Eagles, but Rams would have got in and they would have had to go to Green Bay in round 1. And what that's going to mess up, Hunter, is our freaking predictions.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah, now instead of
I got
6,
boards
we gotta
over
go.
here with
Are
6
they doing
spots.
it this year?
I
Like,
think so.
coming up already, or is it
Is
going
it this year?
2021?
This year, I thought they were implementing 17 games and this next year.
Really?
I know
thought they were just doing the
the
playoff.
17 games. I'm more than likely is coming next year. I don't
NFL
know.
owners have confirmed, and we can. It is confusing.
This is not April Fool's Day, right?
I don't think so. NFL owners have confirmed via today's vote teleconference that there will be an expanded playoffs after the 2020 season.
So it'll be 2021. It'll be next year.
Or does that mean the playoffs after the 2020 regular season?
I don't know. It's not descriptive enough. We'll just have to deep dive into that.
I
But
hope it is
We
this
can
year.
find out by Saturday.
we'll definitely.
Hey, and if
find
that
out.
is, then change your picks.
I know, right?
Yeah, well, we
Gotta
might
add
as well.
one.
Might as well do one just for fun.
No, what messes up is I got to change my damn board. I got 6 spots up there.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
It's exactly 6 spots, Hunter.
No, all you got to do is
Just not put the 1 seed.
put the
not
one
put
seed
the one
up
seed.
above. Just make a special box on each side for the 1 seed. That's it,
3, 6, jeez.
right?
Crazy. Yeah, we'll have to
Anyway.
repick those. All right, let me go through see if there was anything on my list of things to go over. Hunter, the April Fool's joke of the day going around. Conference USA is fake inviting teams. They're not. Their fake Twitter feed is. It's called Fakes Conference USA Network. Breaking news: Appalachian State will become the 14th member. And someone complained about Charlotte not getting this, and the next one was like, breaking news: Charlotte has replaced Appalachian State as as Conference USA.
I'm all for it, man. People are just having fun with it.
I'm glad they're having
another
fun.
thing though that's it's not April Fool's, but it is today. It is Sean Taylor's, if he was alive, would be 37 today.
Zach, which team, NBA team, has the most Hall of Fame basketball players?
Celtics,
38. 2 teams have 0. Can you name them?
Hornets.
Hornets have 4 on their list. I want to know who played for them that's made it, because I guess they're
Hall
going.
of Fame.
Are they going just people that were there for like a blip?
I think so, because
'Cause then
there's not a
wouldn't it be
list.
Alonzo?
There's not a list
Hornet,
here. I'm just going by the pictures, and it's got Hornets listed as 4 next to it.
maybe Alonzo did go in. He did. He went in the same year
What
Jordan
about
did.
Glenn
didn't he?
Rice? Did he get in?
I think so.
Who else would have played for the Hornets? Robert Parrish? Did he get in?
Yeah.
Robert Parrish and Alonzo Mourning are the only Hornets to have been inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Mourning, Larry Johnson, Glenn Rice, Eddie Jones,
Does
Baron
Kobe count?
Davis.
Does
Does Kobe
count?
out?
Lakers are probably 2.
Maybe.
I got the numbers. I just don't got who the
Celtics
players
won,
are.
Lakers
So
are
wait, you
2.
want us to guess the 2
You said
teams
there's-
that don't, and
Right.
the Hornets
Teams
is
that
not
does.
one of them.
Right.
Was
Thanks.
is it the Clippers?
No,
Dallas Mavericks.
no,
No, the Nets.
no. They got 16. Dr. J played for them.
Oh, that's right. I don't know. I mean,
Toronto Raptors.
Toronto has 3. That is not the answer.
Gee.
2 teams have 0.
is it Milwaukee?
The Vancouver Grizzlies count.
No, but Memphis has got one.
So that would be, they do have one. So that was who they are.
And I don't know if they have. I don't know
Clippers.
who the one is.
I said
No,
the
Clippers have
no.
10.
What the hell?
There's a lot of people playing for the Clippers that you
Elgin
didn't know.
Baylor did, didn't he? Yeah.
The Pelicans.
That's one.
I was gonna say they're so new, and the Thunder.
No.
That ain't fair for the Pelicans.
What?
They were the Hornets.
Oh, because they count
who
them as
else?
the Supersonics,
Yeah,
don't
the
they?
Supersonics.
Oh, okay.
That's just because
Pelicans. And the other
so-
one has a tie to the Hornets, kind of.
Is it the Kings? No.
The Minnesota Timberwolves.
Garnett.
They got 0.
They got 0.
Minnesota and
I guess Garnett ain't winning it.
Minnesota and Pelicans have 0.
Yeah, but think about it. Does he go in as a Timberwolf or does he go in as a Celtic?
Well, according to this, you go in under every team you've ever been on because there's 4 Hornets somehow. I don't think.
It literally says right here, Robert Parrish and Alonzo Mourning are the only Hornets to have been inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Did either one of them go in as a Hornet?
I was going to say, did either one of them go in with a Hornets jersey on? Mourning is probably in there with a
Do
Heat
they even
jersey
do that
on.
in NBA?
I don't know. Like they do in the NFL?
Like you pick a team, and like baseball, you have to pick a team.
Oh, I don't know.
Like you have to pick a specific team in baseball.
All I know is Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame speech was epic. He
Yeah.
destroyed everybody.
That's true.
3 Hall of Famers inducted as players for them. This is from Basketball Reference. Robert Parrish,
couldn't find the list.
Alonzo Mourning, Vlade Divac.
The Basketball Hall of Fame is the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's,
Yeah, but this is Charlotte. I mean,
right. It's basketball.
it's just
Hall of Fame.
basketball. So, okay, yeah, I guess you can do that.
So what I mean is that people like Vlade Divac will get in. It's not really that great.
Look, this is just what I'm reading.
He was good enough to trade for
This,
Kobe.
this is
That's
what
true.
I am
That's true.
reading.
They made the playoffs.
Why could we not have
Basketball.
got Vlade and a first round pick?
We got Glenn Rice for Alonzo Mourning. And we
I don't
ended
have
up-
a problem with that one.
We ended up with Eddie Jones
Honors,
through all
Hall
that
of
stuff.
Fame, Charlotte Hornets. This is it.
Alonzo Mourning is probably one of my top 3 all time favorite players, but I like Glenn Rice too.
I'm not that big on Alonzo at all.
I just like shot blocking people, and that's why I like him.
I tell you what, I liked him until he got rid of the box cut. He was
Yeah.
good with the Will Smith box cut, and then when he got rid of that, I just stopped liking Alonzo. And he didn't want nothing to do with Charlotte.
Yeah,
All right,
more-
Zach.
yeah, he probably went in as a Heat.
Last 46 starts. Cam Newton, 23-23. Tyrod Taylor,
I know this.
24-21-1. In the last 46 starts, Tyrod Taylor. Now listen, you want to hear the touchdowns? Cam 65 to 44 interceptions. He in last 46 starts, and that's what I always thought Cam was really good at. I would give him tons of credit is that he didn't throw picks. But in his last 46 starts, he's thrown 44 interceptions. Tyrod Taylor has 54 touchdowns to Cam 65, 11 less. But interceptions, Cam 44, Taylor 20.
I want to bring something up about Cam too, because
You can. That was from Colin's segment.
I will
wasn't
say
it?
this.
Yeah, those were good numbers though.
No, great numbers. They never did him any favors. They started picking short wide receivers for him. Why would you do that?
Well, they give him big ones first, and they
They
didn't work
did.
out.
Kelvin Benjamin,
did.
he was a
And he was
Popeye's
good with
biscuit
him.
away
He was-
from him
he
being
was
a
good
tight
with him.
end.
And Devin
good with him.
Funchess.
Funchess
Well,
had
remember,
brick hands by the time he
Funchess
came
was
in.
good with him.
But Funchess,
I think they tried to help Cam.
what they
But
messed
the
up.
combination of picking wide receivers is
Yeah.
a 50-50 proposition,
Yeah.
and then Cam never improving his.
And see, I don't think Funchess really was. I don't think he needed to play wide receiver. People forget when he was at Michigan, he was a tight end. I think he would have thrived really from the tight end position and not trying to put him out
If
wide.
Benjamin had not have
Gotten fat. Just say it. Gotten fat and out of shape.
he was 1,000-yard wide receiver
well,
his
think
first
about
year.
it. He
Dude,
got injured
and
and then he got fat because he couldn't
Cam
move.
throws high. You know who would be really good with Cam Newton? I'm gonna tell you right now.
Julio.
I'm talking about somebody that likes the ball thrown up and he doesn't run routes. Des Bryant,
Wouldn't mind. I mean,
because he doesn't run
Dez
routes.
not open anyway.
He's gonna throw. He's gonna throw the football.
He
and he
runs like he's
throws it
got a
high,
piano on his
and
back.
Dez can go up and get it. He
Yeah.
needs somebody that can win a jump ball.
Larry Fitzgerald would have been.
Well, I'll say this.
Fitz would have been real good. He needed a big guy.
If the Chargers are in fact
That's why Olsen was so good with him.
trying to sign Cam underneath the table, like not trying to make it public, because I've seen a couple mock drafts that say if they do it, they're not taking a quarterback, obviously. he'll have weapons. He'll have Hunter Henry.
And
He'll
Allen.
have Keenan Allen, and he'll have the big wide receiver in Mike Williams. So it's not like he can't come out. If he struggles, he will not be able to say there is no talent around him.
I
So
know
look,
we beat a
if he
dead
gets
horse
the
on
jo-
him, but
if he gets it, good for him. But if it's on him to prove us all wrong, and I don't know if he can.
I know we beat a dead horse on him, but if nobody's picked him up now, he is.
Well, I've
he's-
read a lot of reports saying
He's in trouble.
that
He's hurt.
they might not make a move on him till teams see what they do in the draft. And if they still need a quarterback, then they'll sign him after the draft.
All right, Zach, rounding up the show day. Before we go, a couple of things. I do want to show you this. The other day we were talking quarterbacks and quarterbacks that throw people open, right? And whether you throw it when they're open or do you throw them open. I want you guys to watch this. This is the very first touchdown Tony Romo ever threw,
I remember that game.
and it was in Carolina,
We lost that game.
right? The Panthers fans were wearing Jessica Simpson mask.
Gotta love it.
They really were.
Gotta
Yeah, I
love
remember
it.
that.
Panthers fans,
They were
put-
like,
they put Jessica Simpson mask on popsicle sticks,
Gotta love it.
and we're walking around, and Panther fans thought that was a good joke. Like, now, let's think about it, Hunter.
I know.
If you're Hunter Yancey, and I'm Tony Romo, and I'm quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, making millions, and I'm dating Jessica Simpson,
Hold on, I care.
and your idea is to make fun of me for that.
Okay.
Like, what's Romo supposed to do?
Hey,
Like,
when-
show me a picture of your girlfriend, or you know what I mean?
Win or
Like,
lose, I'm going home to her. Sorry.
I'm Tony Romo. All right. Yeah, I thought that stuff was funny. All right, watch this throw, and then we'll dissect it real quick for the folks watching online. This is Romo to Witten. Now, let's see if they show the side.
I mean, he
angles.
put it just to where Witten could get it.
Right. So
Look
now,
how big Witten was back then.
I mean, he's still kind of big, just it's more of like a fridge built
hey,
now.
Hunter, he outran. Jason Witten had a faster 40-yard dash than Shannon Sharp did at the combine. All right. Does that blow your mind?
Drew Bledsoe.
And Sharp's pretty fast.
Jason Witten outran Shannon Sharp in the combine. What Zach? I'm
Drew
sorry.
Bledsoe was having a flashback.
All right, watch this. Here's
Tom
Romo.
Brady all over.
Here's Romo. Now look, he is in the motion
he
of
ain't even broke
he's
yet.
in the motion of throwing. Lets it go here, okay?
And then he breaks.
Look where he caught the ball
Hey, put it.
behind him.
Look,
And everybody Bledsoe. Damn, that was a good one.
poor Bledsoe.
I couldn't have done that. So Romo goes 1-2. Witten's taken 3 steps by now, tops, right? And he lets go of the ball. So, like, as of right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 or 6 steps, then Witten turns around and catches the ball. The Panthers defender never turned
The
around.
defender think that the ball wasn't coming, and he just whips around and catches
And
it.
this is what I mean by throwing someone open,
I
Zach.
don't think the defender even saw.
Is that
had
Cam
no
wouldn't
clue
throw
the
that
ball
pass
was-
right there. He wouldn't attempt it. He wouldn't throw it before the guy came open. And that's right then and there. And I told people from the start, Tony Romo's a good damn passer because of stuff like that right there. It's not, you were talking about throwing up and them catching it. That's a different ball than what he just threw.
Oh, I know.
He just threw it. When he saw, and as a quarterback, if I see the back of your head, you're burnt. I can put it anywhere I want. And so as soon as he saw that guy's back of his head, he threw it to that shoulder, went and turned around, snatched it. Beautiful play, beautiful catch. And that's the difference between a quarterback who throws someone open as opposed to hitting the guy once they're open.
Yeah, I was watching the game where Romo debuted, and I was happy that Bledsoe wasn't going to play because I thought we was going to get a win because they was bringing in their practice squad quarterback, and he debuts against us, and that was it. He never relinquished the starting job.
He Prescotted him. All right, Hunter, you got anything else today?
That's about it.
That's about it.
That's
Zach,
about it?
Hunter, give us 5 or 10 minutes real quick. NASCAR iRacing this weekend. Timmy Hill won the race at Texas. Timmy actually has 600 iRacing wins. Doesn't have any NASCAR wins. He races in one of those teams that doesn't have the great equipment or whatever. So they're basically using last year's equipment or year before's. And they're just talking about how great it is for him to get the spotlight and guys like that to actually get the spotlight. I think Junior finished 7th. More and more guys are jumping on. Kyle Busch joined this week. Jimmy, of course, is still having trouble. They actually did the fun part, Hunter. They did a audio. You ever listen to where they do the radio in the car and put it together? They had one of those for this race.
Oh God!
Instead of 2 minute 2 minute one. Clint Boyer was hilarious as always. Talking with, he fired his spotter during the race, and then he got someone else. Larry, he's trying to get Larry McReynolds to do it. And that was pretty hilarious. Zach, 1.3 million people watched this race.
That's see we can do this for Shock Joxx. We can have a Tecmo Super Bowl game matchup.
Okay, now that you said that, so we were talking down the hall, and I was talking with the engineer before you got here about Twitch.
Yeah,
in my class and everything, and we were talking about how people now are just playing video games and people are watching. And I actually mentioned down the hall, Zach, that we ought to stream our Tecmo Bowl games, because that's one thing we could probably guarantee. There's probably nobody watching.
Tecmo Bowl
is a Tecmo Bowl game.
Yeah,
online. And if we started doing that, we might get some viewers or something.
Yeah.
How about this, Hunter? We just institute Tecmo Bowl as part of the podcast.
There you go.
It takes exactly 20 minutes to play a game.
There you go.
So, folks, we'll do 45 minutes of talking.
In a 20-minute.
We'll take a 20-minute Tecmo Bowl break, and then we can, and then do the rest of the show.
You know, they do make an updated version. Have you seen those?
I've seen, you can go online and play them online. I've not actually seen them in action or anything like that.
Order the game itself. It's got the updated roster.
Now, I've seen an updated roster thing that you could do online, but not actually like the actual cartridge or anything like that. Would be neat to do. I do like the game. Very, very fun game. The Tecmo basketball is fun too.
Tecmo basketball fun. It's harder.
It's hard, but it's fun. I played one of the games, Zach. I can't remember who was playing, but somebody at one time remember Manute Bowl?
Yeah.
Would actually shoot 3-pointers.
Yes.
And I remember one of those games I was playing somebody one time. He scored 50-something points because Manute Bowl got hot shooting threes, and he was firing them from half court everywhere. He was 7 foot, just everywhere. But Jordan was really good on that game. He was unstoppable in that game. Barkley was unstoppable on that game too. Those are the two best players probably. But those games are really cool that we could all choose the team.
Yep.
You could play your season.
Yep.
You do it now on Madden and stuff, but just being on those old games, it's incredible to think about that they actually had that. Even on the Tecmo Bowl, we could all pick a team
and you could go
play
through a
those
season.
games.
Don't matter how many.
Right.
How many you had, I believe.
No, you play. Yeah. Well, there's 30 teams. You have 30 people, so you can have 30 man controlled teams. Yeah, those are pretty fun. We ought to throw a Tecmo Bowl on the screen. Have you ever played?
No.
It wouldn't be that hard for you to figure out.
It's 2 buttons.
Yeah,
A and B.
Yeah, A and the biggest thing is hard is defense. More than anything is figuring out how to play a little bit of defense. Hunter, we'll get it going one day.
I've got to get a new copy. My copy got missing.
I'll take it easy on you. I'll play with when I don't play against experts, I'll pick Dallas because their defense is questionable. Emmitt Smith's good, Novacek's good, Michael Irvin's good. That defense on there,
Troy wasn't that good.
It's before that they won the Super Bowl. It's like the year before.
Yeah.
It was the year the Giants won. It was 2 years before because the Giants won the Super Bowl on that one, and it was the Redskins Super Bowl year. So the Redskins team was really good.
I've got the
Hunter,
Super NES
you'd
version.
like that Redskins team, dude.
Yeah.
They were nasty.
Yeah.
Mark Rippon, Art Monk, Sanders,
Biner.
That was a really good Redskins team. The defense was nasty
Dexter
too
Manley.
with Dexter Manley, Darryl Green.
Mm-hmm.
Had a really good team. All right, I guess that'll do it. Anything else, Hunter?
No, not really. That's about it. Other than Wimbledon's canceled.
I see that.
So that now it's official. Everything's canceled.
Appalachian's waiting on their SEC invite. They got their Conference USA today on April Fools.
There you go.
You got an April Fool's joke? Got anything? Got you working on anything for your girlfriend, mom, dad, anybody?
No, I really don't have an April Fool's joke.
I think I'm going to take my kids to the ice cream shop and go in and get myself a cone.
And just say
And
April
come back,
Fool's.
get back in the car and drive home.
Oh, man.
You don't like that one?
Yeah. That's kind of cruel.
Cruel.
Kind of cruel.
I'll end my episode with this.
Yes, sir.
So, for some reason, my son thinks anything that's old is from the 80s. So, I found a VCR the other day. It just, I dusted it off, got it out.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Is that a DVD player, Dad?" I was like, "No, son, it's a VCR." "Oh, what's that?" So we started. He says, "Is that from the 80s?" I said, "Probably."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We got a VCR in our living room because my wife
Uh-huh.
had every Disney movie ever made. So we just set it up we've got a stack of all the Disney movies on VHS still, and the kids watch it. My kids know how to run a VCR.
We had 2 videos that I didn't want to get messed up. Number 1 was Rad. I don't know if you remember the movie Rad. It was a BMX movie.
Maybe.
And the other one was my wedding day tape because we don't have a backup of it. So I told Manny, I said, I'm not putting anything good in here because I don't want it to eat it, right?
Yeah.
So I put in old tape and it eats it. And I'm like, thank goodness I didn't put one of the good ones in it. So we was going to throw the VCR away. And I heard something rattling in it. My daughter, I guess, when we actually had a VCR and she had her DS games, tried to put a DS game in there and play it on the VCR. So
Oh
she
my
got my
God.
tape back because she put the thing in there. So we watched the video of my wedding. And my son's going, was that in the 80s, Dad? Was that in the 80s, Dad? So we had the VCR broke out this week. And I was going to look up just to see what one cost. You can't get one for under like $200 now.
Really?
Man.
I can sell my VCR. I got like three of those jokers.
You look one time, look up VCR. Every one of them's $199.
I'm
How about
telling you,
died?
it's strange.
And then he wants a typewriter. My son wants a typewriter.
You could go to any redneck yard sale
Get
in
a-
the
Find a
South and find a
VCR.
VCR.
I tried to find a typewriter. They're $200 for typewriters. He just want a typewriter.
I got some cheap ones on eBay, Zach. This is the one I got in the living room right there at Emerson. $45 on eBay.
That's still too much.
You can get DVDs for about that much price, can't you? DVD players.
Probably cheaper because there's Blu-ray and on demand now.
The
so it's probably
DVD
cheaper.
VCR combos, unbelievable. $300.
All right, guys.
I gotta go.
Let's wrap it up. See you guys Saturday on Saturday Sports Talk. Our next podcast will be Monday. Zach, you won't be back then, will you? You missed this Monday. Thought you was coming in. You forgot. He forgot.
Vacation. Should text me.
Well, I just figured. I thought you'd already planned it, so I didn't even say anything, and you missed. All right, Hunter, let's play her away today, and see you guys on Saturday for Saturday Sports Talk with Mitchum's Kitchen Breakfast. Thank you guys for watching the Shock Joxx podcast. Tune in, iTunes, Spotify, listen live and watch live on Facebook, and listen and watch live the replays on YouTube. Thanks, everybody.